I'm the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So this is my 150th video. I I never anticipated making as many as I have. I started the channel because I was looking for defenses and just weird experimental kind of stuff that people might be doing out there with their 40K models, but I couldn't really find anything like that. So I thought, hey, maybe other people are looking for it and also can't find it, so I'll just put up some content like that and see how it goes. Yeah, the last time I looked, I had 279 subscribers. That's just a phenomenal thing for me. All I can say is thank you a whole lot for that. So I wanted to do something a little bit bigger and special for 150. So recently I did a 10 faction melee only battle. So it just makes sense to do a multi-faction shooting only battle. So that's what we're going to do today. I got 10 factions, all 25 to 40 power level of shooting only. And I got a nice big table set up here, a 6x6 board, and we're going to just see how much fun they can have with it. Alright, so I have this big wide open expanse. Ruined building in the middle with the ubiquitous fountain. Hopefully lots of places to stand on, shoot things from above, perhaps. Alright, so meet the armies now. Alright, so I got 10 factions. First of them are these Tyranids. Got a big ass group of 20 Termagants with spine fists. Two groups of 3 Tyranid warriors. The one on the right has a Devourer, a Venom Cannon, and a Barbed Strangler. And the one on the left pretty much just has spine fists. And then the Hive Tyrant with the Stranglethorn Cannon. These guys did a decent job in the melee battle, so I hope they do a good job here as well. Alright, so the Necron contingent. We have 5 Immortals with Tesla Carbines, 3 not in the same group, like 3 separate Locust Heavy Destroyers, 2 with the Enmitic Exterminator, 1 Gauze Destructor, 2 Hexmark Destroyers, a Royal Warden, and 6 Tomb Blades with Tesla Carbines. They all have shield vanes and nebula scopes as well. The Hexmark Destroyers are going to be hanging out in the Teleportarium area. Alright, so we have the AdMech contingent. 10 Rangers on the left and 10 Vanguard on the right. We have a Tech Priest Dominus, 3 Cataphragm Breachers, and an Iron Strider Ballistari. I don't remember all of these guys' weapons offhand, but they're all stock. For the Eldar, I really hope these guys do well, actually. They've got a Wraith Lord, that should mean something. So we got 10 Guardian Defenders with a Shuriken Cannon, heavy support platform for those guys. A Farseer, who knows Executioner and Fortune, as well as Smite. 2 5-man groups of Dire Avengers. A Wraith Lord with a Bright Lance and an Eldari Missile Launcher. And then 6 Wind Riders with the Shuriken Cannons. Alright, 1,000 Suns were just barely able to field a grouping. Got two 5-man groups of celebratory terminators. The one on the left has a Soul Reaper cannon. The one on the right has a heavy warp flamer. Both groups have Hellfire missile racks, and both of the sorcerers in this group know Doombolt. We have 10 Zangors with auto pistols and chainswords, and an Exalted Sorcerer who pretty much just knows Smite. So here we have some Iron Warriors. These guys also just barely made the basic requirement. We've got 10 Legionnaires, 6 with bolters, 3 with bolt pistol chainsword, and then the champion has a plasma pistol. Group of Havocs. There's an auto cannon, the Reaper chain cannon. I don't remember what the one on the right is. This guy. So we're going to pretend that he's a las cannon like the guy on the left. And then the Halberd. So the Drakari entry, led by an Archon. Then we have two groups of 10 Kabbalite warriors. The one on the left has 7 of the Splinter Carbines and then a Shredder and a Blaster. And the one on the right has 6 of the Splinter Carbines, the Shredder, the Blaster, and the Dark Lance, I think. I think it's a Dark Lance. I'll have to look in a second. Each of the Kabbalite warrior groupings will be in one of the Raiders, and the Archon will be in the Venom. I also hope these guys do well. They did really well in the melee battle, so hopefully they'll do well here as well. Alright, so here we have the Night Lord entry. The Chaos Lord, the Plasma Pistol. A group of Havocs. A Heavy Bolter, Predator, Chain Cannon, and 2 Blast Cannons. Got 10 Legionnaires. 1 with a Heavy Bolter, an Auto Cannon, 4 Bolt Guns, 3 Bolt Pistols, and then the Aspiring Champion has a Plasma Pistol. And then 2 separate, not in the same grouping, Obliterators. These guys will be in the Teleportarium. A lot of guys in Teleportariums this game. Just waiting to come in. I know it might seem kind of weird to throw a bunch of orcs into a shooting-only game, but you know, there's Met Guns and Depthcopters, so I figure between those 2 units, it should make up for the boys' inability to really hit anything ever. So we do have a group of 10 commandos. There's a burner boy, a rocket launcher, at least one of the Daka guns, and then a lot of melee stuff that won't be helpful. 2 10-man groups of boys, one with a big shooter, one with a rocket launcher. 2 mech guns that are in the same group. These guys are both bubble chuckers. We have the Warboss and Mega Armor and the shooter, the relic shooter thingy. And then 3 Depthcopters. 2 with the rockets and 1 with the custom Mega Blaster, I think. These guys will be circling overhead, waiting for the opportune moment to drop in. And hopefully these guys shoot well. So here we have all of my Imperial Guard infantry currently, along with a heavy weapon squad. I recently did a game with my Imperial Guard armor against some Chaos troops. I don't think the Guard won that game, but they did a decent job, so I guess today we'll find out how their infantry do. So we have 2 groups of Acadian Command Squad. The one on the left, the mostly painted one, slightly painted one, is the main Acadian commander. They have a guy with the flag, the other one does not. So we've got 3 10-man squads of Acadian shock troops, all with a boxcaster, a flamethrower, a grenade launcher, and 6 las guns. And then 1 10-man group with a plasma gun, a flamethrower, the Vox, and 6 las guns. We have 3 Bulgarins, grenade launchers, a heavy weapon squad with an autocannon, a las cannon, a mortar, and a commissar. So yeah, that's 10 factions, up to 40 power level. This is going to be ridiculously nuts. Alright, so I got 8 of them around the edges and 2 in the middle. Start over here with the Adeptus Mechanicus. All of these guys are on the table. So I got the Breachers in front, Vanguard and Rangers in the middle, Dominus and the Ballistari in back. So for the Drukhari, both sets of Kabbalites are in the Raiders. The Archon is in the Venom. So Thousand Suns chose over here. The 2 Scarab-Occult Terminator squads are in their Teleportarium. So we've got the 10 Zangors and then the Exalted Sorcerer. Tyranids ended up over here in the corner-ish. So big blob of Termagants, Warriors on the side with the Hive Tyrant on the back. Eldar, catty corner to those guys. The blob of Wind Riders, next to some Dire Avengers. Guardian Defenders behind them with the other Dire Avengers. Farseer and the Wraithlord in the very, very back. Man, there's a lot of Imperial Guard here. So all 4 squads. And the shock troops, both, yeah, everybody. It's just bunched up quickly here. So I think the 3 grenade launchers are in the back with the plasma gun. Shock troop group in the front. The annoying flag grouping over there with the heavy support squad. The Iron Warriors chose on top of this. I don't know. I don't even know what it's called on the thing. Piping gantry looking thing. So all the Space Marines in front, Havocs in the middle, and the Hellbrute in the back. The Orcs. Mechans in the back, boys on the sides, and the Warboss in front. The Depcopters are circling around doing their thing. And over here in the corner, between the Thousand Suns and the Drukhari, are the Commandos being all sneaky. In the bigger cathedral area, we have the Night Lords, the Legionnaires, and the Chaos Lord on the bottom, with the Havocs up top. The Obliterators are wandering around in their little teleportarium thing. Sleeps in the Necrons. Occupying this space. Got the Tomb Blades on the bottom, Immortals on the 2nd floor, 2 of the Destroyers with the Tomb Blades, and then the other Heavy Destroyer on that 3rd floor, Royal Warden up top. The Hexmark Destroyers for these guys are hanging out in their teleportarium. So, yeah. 10 teams, 36 square feet. This should be an excellent experience. We're going to start this off with the Astra Militarum. Alright, this section of the board is going to look very vastly different here in about, well, it'll probably be 20 minutes for me and 0 time for you guys, so. Alright, so there was some movement from the Imperial Guard. This far squad on the left of the Cadian Star Troops moved over, as did the 2nd Command Squad. The Plasma Gun grouping advanced forward. The main Command Squad also advanced forward. Bograns just kind of came around the container here, and these guys are just hanging out kind of like in reserve, I guess. Although I just discovered that these guys have, a really long gun range, so they were able to do some decent shooting. And they didn't do a lot of wounding, but they did a lot of shooting. The shock troops here managed to kill off 2 of the dire Avengers. The command squad also killed off 2 of these dire Avengers in the back. So all 20 of these guys shot at the Wind Riders and did a point of damage. And then the heavy weapon squad also, well, not also, but shot at the Iron Warriors Havocs and did a point of damage to them. So not a bad start. We're going to hop across the table now and deal with the AdMech. Alright, so the AdMech, for the most part, moved out away from this area. The Ballistari just hung out where it is. The Dominus and the Rangers have set off towards the Drakari area. The Breachers and the Vanguard heading off towards the Orcs. So in the shooting phase, the Breachers and the Vanguard completely annihilated that first group of boys that was on the front there. For this side, the Ballistari, the Rangers, and the Dominus were actually all in range. And it did a fair amount of damage to this Raider here on the left side. Didn't kill it, but did half the damage that it needed, so it's a start. That'll put us on over to the Necron turn. I expect big things from these guys. So I kind of feel like I might have pumped these guys up a little bit. Maybe I felt a little overconfident about them. None of them moved. I didn't really feel the need to bring the hex marks in anywhere at all. So everybody except for the Gauss Destructor, Locust Heavy Destroyer, shot into the Legionnaires over here. They managed to kill 5 of them, but it took pretty much everything over here. The Gauss Destructor Heavy Destroyer, the one on the right there, he failed to wound on this Ballistari, which is really sad. I'm sure he'll get another chance. Alright, well that'll take us on over to the Orc turn. Alright, so the mech guns didn't move. The remaining boys have headed over towards the Iron Warriors. The Warboss just kind of moved over a little bit. And the Commandos just also moved over a little bit to get closer to the Zangors, who they shot at and successfully killed 2 of them. So that's good to see. The mech guns were pretty successful this time around, killing off 2 of the heavy weapon squad groups. So all that's left over here is the autocannon. So yeah, orc shooting does sometimes work well. It's good to see. That'll make it the Iron Warriors' turn. I feel like I should have painted these guys white. They definitely have Stormtrooper aim. They decided not to move and hold on to the high ground, which did not help them at all. For the stuff that did hit, it failed to wound. There was just a whole lot of failure here on their part. Nothing. Yeah, these guys didn't do anything. They shot, they missed. It was terrible. So yeah, that'll make it the Eldar turn. The Eldar definitely got some revenge in this turn. The Guardian Defenders just kind of reshuffled their lines and moved around a little bit. The Dire Avengers just started moving over towards the Cadian command squad that used to be here. The Wraith Lord and the Farseer just moved up. And the Wind Riders just moved up across from the Tyranids. So he tried to do Fortune from the Farseer and it didn't work. So he tried to do Executioner on the Cadian Command Squad, and that didn't work either. So between everybody here, all of these guys, they managed to take out the Shock Troop Squad and the Cadian Command Squad. And then the Wind Riders were also successful. Well, really, yeah, they were pretty successful, They killed off 8 of the Termagants. So it's a good start on Dead Tyranids anyway. Alright, so that'll take us over to the Thousand Suns. Alright, so the Zangors just got closer, so their pistols would be useful. The Exalted Sorcerer tried to manifest Smite and definitely failed at that one. Didn't paralyze, but it was super close to paralyzing. The Zangors did actually, I was super amazed, did actually manage to kill off one of the commandos. That was crazy. That'll make it the Drukhari turn. So the Dark Eldar just moved a little bit, kind of reshuffled a little bit to get closer to the AdMech. And then all of the Kabbalites and the Raiders destroyed, killed, whatever, all of the Rangers that used to be here. Yeah, the Raiders shot at the Ballistari, just failed to wound, so not too shabby on the Dark Eldar part. So that'll take us over to the Night Lords. The Night Lords have decided not to move, and to top things off, both Obliterators decided to come in. This one on this little ruined area by itself, and the other one over here next to the Havocs. Kind of a nice thing that happened. This Obliterator killed off 5 of these boys. This Obliterator killed off one of the Breachers. The Havocs all were, saved. Everything that the Havoc shot at saved against it, so. They tried to kill some Tomb Blades. They failed pretty badly. Alright, so we're down to the last faction for the first round, and that makes it the Tyranid turn. All of the Tyranids just moved forward a little bit. Hive Tyrant failed to manifest Smite. All of the Termagants fired into the Wind Riders and managed to kill off the one that was wounded. And then both sets of Tyranid Warriors and the Hive Tyrant dumped everything they had into the Wraith Lord, getting him down to half damage. So that was kind of cool, actually. So with that, that'll take us to the end of the first round. Yay! Alright, so we're going to start the top of round 2 with the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're looking kind of a little beat up over there, but maybe they can do something about the Drukhari breathing down their neck. The Dominus and the Ballistari are just going to hang out where they are so they can shoot at things. And the Vanguard and the Breachers just moved up a little bit. So the Breachers and the Vanguard managed to kill off the War Boss. That was super awesome. These guys were unable to do anything at all to either of the Raiders. It happens. So with all of that, we'll go into the Orc turn. These guys just lost their War Boss, so. But they still have their Death Coppers flying around, so maybe those guys will come in. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so these boys just got closer to the Iron Warrior so they could shoot them in pistol range. Deathcopters did indeed come down and land in this spot. Mech guns will probably never move. I mean, I say that, but they do occasionally do so. And the commandos on the far side of the board over there also did not move. The commandos did manage to kill off 2 of the Zangors, though, so they're whittling down the Thousand Suns. The Deathcopters killed off 2 of these Vanguard, which was super awesome. It took both mech guns to kill off the remaining heavy support squad guy. And these guys failed to hit anything at all. Alright, well, maybe the Iron Warriors can actually hit something this time. Maybe they could even wound it. Maybe they could kill something, that would be cool. So, we'll see if they can do that. Alright, so these guys were a little bit less Stormtrooper-like. I mean, they were still pretty Stormtrooper-like. So, the regular Legionnaires actually did kill off 2 of these orcs. And the Havocs up here did manage to kill off 1 of these Bulgrins. However, it didn't really hit with anything at all. Sad face. Alright, well, it's the Thousand Suns' turn, so maybe the Zangors can get some vengeance. Maybe the Celebratory Terminators will hop in. Who knows? The Thousand Suns had an amazing psychic round. Alright, so they did indeed sound like a group of Celebratory Terminators did hop down out of their little thingy. The Zangors and the Exalted Sorcerer just stayed put otherwise. Exalted Sorcerer did get a smite off, killing 2 of the commandos. And the Scarab Occult Sorcerer actually got Doombolt off, which I almost never get Doombolt off. Killed another couple, put them down at half speed for next turn. And then everybody shot at them and killed 3 more, so a whole bunch of orcs died. It was amazing. Alright, yeah. That'll make it the Drukhari turn. So the Raiders and the Venom have moved up here between these 2 little stack thingies. The Venom and all the Kabbalites inside the Raider managed to kill off all of the remaining Vanguard that were over here. That was kind of rough, actually. Okay, so that'll take us over to the Tyranid turn. Alright, this was a pretty exciting experience this time around. They decided not to move anywhere. The Hive Tyrant manifested Smite, but then the Farseer denied it, which was kind of rare for that to happen. Not the denying part, well, yeah, the denying part, but it's rare that I have psychers within range that are able to do things like that when it does happen. So the Termagants are able to kill off 2 of the Wind Riders, and then the Hive Tyrant and all the Tyranid Warriors dumped everything they had into the Wraith Lord, and did a little bit of damage to that. Alright, well, that'll take us on over to the Night Lord turn. The Night Lords were definitely more effective with their death dealing this turn. The Havocs and the Legionnaires on the ground dumped everything they had and killed 1 of these Tomb Blades. This Obliterator managed to kill off 1 of the Breachers and severely damage another one. And the other Obliterator got real lucky with its super heavy damage one. It killed off 2 of these Deathcopters flat out. That was nice. Alright, well, that'll make it the Imperial Guard turn. Alright, so these guardsmen have noped out of going into the ruined building area here, and instead changed course heading towards the Wind Riders. The Uppermost squad just kind of moved over. The bottom squad advanced to get over here. The commissar gave that bottom grouping forwards for the Emperor so they could shoot. Acadian commander over here gave these guys first rank fire, second rank fire. And they did manage to kill off a couple of the Wind Riders. These guys dumped everything they had and killed off 4 of the Dire Avengers and the one remaining Dire Avenger Exarch that was over here. So they did a pretty good job. Yeah, for guys with las guns. Doing better than the Iron Warriors anyway. The Bograns did 1 point of damage to the Iron Warrior Legionnaires. I don't know what I'm expecting over here. They're just 2 guys, one of which has a grenade launcher. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that maybe they'll do some sort of heroic Imperial Guard thing and just grenade launcher the whole grouping up here by themselves. That's the hope. With that being said, though, that'll take us over to the Necron turn. So the majority of the Necrons stayed over there in that ruined building area. The Tomb Blades have ducked around this side, heading over towards the Thousand Suns. And we dropped a hex mark down in this little space here. In the shooting phase, the hex mark did a really good job and killed off 7 of these Termagants. That'll help the Eldar out, probably. Split the Tomb Blades up. 2 of them shot at the Commandos, 3 of them shot at the Zangors. Completely wiped out the last 2 Commandos. Killed off 3 of the Zangors. Looking a little bit more bare over here now. And everything that's still over here in this ruined building area, it took all of them to kill the remainder, the last 5 guys out of the Legionnaire squad that was on the bottom level here. Yeah, that was just crazy that it took so many guys. It's like they're harder to kill when they got 2 health. Alright, well, that'll take us to the remnants of the Eldar. So none of the Eldar wanted to move. As is typical, the Farseer failed to get Executioner and Fortune off. Shooting was better, though. The Wind Riders killed off 4 of the Termagants. The Wraith Lord killed 1 of these Tyranid warriors. And all of these defenders managed to kill off 4 of the Imperial Guard squad on the right there. So, yeah, that was nice. Still getting some revenge on these guys. Alright, well, that'll be the end of round 2. Yay! So, going into the top of round 3, we're going to start with the Iron Warriors. These guys are still just hanging on, holding the high ground. Trying not to die. I might talk, some smack about the Iron Warriors of this game, but they're definitely doing their part. The Havocs killed off the 2 Bograns that were here. It took the Helberts and all of the Legionnaires to kill 2 of the boys that were here, so they're definitely putting in work. Alright, well, that'll take us on over to the Tyranid turn on the other side of the table there. Once again, these guys didn't move. Not really a whole lot of need to move once you're within, shooting range, so. By the way, yeah, these guys didn't move. Didn't get a smite off. They did manage, the Warriors and the Hive Tyrant dumped everything they had into the Wraith Lord and did finally manage to kill it off. That's a decent success there. Alright, well, that's going to make it the Astra Militarum turn. Alright, so all of the Imperial Guardsmen just kind of moved closer to their targets. And it took all of these guys to kill off the Guardian Defenders. And these guys managed to kill off one of the Wind Riders. That was a rough round for the Eldar. Yeah, that was craziness. All that flamage. I feel like the Eldar just got mauled by the Imperial Guard just now, but it's the Eldar's turn, so maybe they can turn things around. I guess we'll see what happens here. Could the Eldar be the first? Well, no, they're probably not going to be the first to be tossed out yet, but either way. That's definitely part of what I was kind of hoping to see here. So the Farseer and the Exarch just got closer for no real reason. Executioner finally went off, killing 5. That far squad off, and then the Farseer and the Exarch were able to successfully shoot and kill 2 more. Over here, one of the Wind Riders killed off the last of the Termagants, and the other Wind Rider killed off one of these shock troops. So that wasn't too terrible. Alright, well that's going to make it the Orc turn. They're kind of in a bad place. They only got 4 models left on the board, so hopefully they can do some amazing things here. Go out with a bang or something. Alright, well, none of the Orcs felt they need to move. This lone knob shot into the Legionnaires and didn't do anything. All 3 of these, the 2 mech guns and the depth copter, dumped everything they had into this one obliterator. Got it down to 1. It makes me sad. That makes it the AdMech turn. I wish I could say that the AdMech had done a whole lot of amazing things this turn, but there's only 3 of them. So the Breacher got closer to the Depcopter and failed to wound on it. These 2 didn't move at all. The Ballistari did indeed wound the close on the right Raider a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then Dominus just failed to wound also. Alright, well, that'll take us to the Thousand Suns. All alone on the other side of the board there. I mean, they're not all alone. The Necrons are coming their way, so... Gonna see some dust on Skeleton? No. Dust on Cyborg? No. Gonna see some dust on something action. Alright, so... all of these guys started heading towards the Tomb Blades. And we dropped the other squad of Scarabacal Terminators over here. So this guy got a Smite off, and this one actually got Doombolt off. Between the 2 of them, they killed 2 of the Tomb Blades, and then everybody shooting everything all together killed another 2, and wounded this one. That was a whole lot of awesome saves on the Necron side. Super awesome to get Doombolt off. I think that's like the 4th time now that's gone off. That was epic. Alright, well, that's going to take us to the Drukhari turn. Not entirely sure what they're going to do. It's certainly going to be interesting. Alright, so I'm going to try and be a little sneaky here. The Raiders and the Venom both advanced up, trying to stay kind of close to this wall, hoping the Obliterators cannot shoot them. Or at least, fail to wound. The wounded raider managed to kill off the last wounded breacher, and the unwounded raider failed to wound on the depth copter. Alright, well, that does make it the Night Lord's turn, so I guess we'll find out if they can kill off a raider or not. The Chaos Lord is hopped up next to the Obliterator there on the second floor. This Obliterator destroyed the wounded raider. It didn't explode. None of these guys died getting out. And then the raider over here next to the Chaos Lord killed off the last of the depth copters. Yeah, that's really all that happened for them. A whole lot of saving on the Necron side from the Havocs. Necron dice just really don't like to roll low, I guess. Well, it is finally the Necron turn, so maybe we can get some revenge on the Thousand Suns over there. Alright, none of the Necrons really moved, but this Hexmark did drop in over here by the Iron Warriors. It did manage to kill one of the Havocs. The Tombblade killed off the two Zangors that were over here. Amazingly enough, the Hexmark killed off one of these Scarab Occult Terminators. I've seen these guys die before, but not in a while. And then everything that was over here, with the exception of the bottom Locust Heavy Destroyer, the one on the left there, everybody else shot at the Havocs over here, the Night Lord's ones, and killed 3 of those. The bottom Heavy Destroyer killed 5 of these Coblites on the ground. It was super glorious. I like imagining these guys just, imploding in their souls, just being sucked out, screaming off to Slaanesh. It puts a smile on my face. That takes us to the bottom of round 3, so going into round 4. Still haven't eliminated anybody yet. Whole lot of teams are super close to it though. So we're gonna start round 4 with the Imperial Guard. Alright, well, I talked about it, so then it happened. It's just the way it goes sometimes. So the Guard all got closer to the Eldar, just because the Tyranids are on the other side. Commissar gave the lower squad here first rank fire, second rank fire for their last gun. The command squad did the same thing for these guys, and these guys were able to kill the Wind Riders. And it took everything from these guys to kill off the Exarch and the Farseer. Those Flamers are really what did it. Those things are really like a godsend. I hate to say Emperor Send because that seems a little heretical for me, but a godsend of some sort. Alright, so that'll take us to the AdMech. Way on the other end of the table in the corner. Alright, so it's the AdMech turn. There's only these 2 guys left for the AdMech, so I have faith that they can do some awesome things. Alright, so the Dominus and the Ballistari just moved over here, getting closer to the Drakari forces. They did manage to kill off the Coblites that were in the destroyed Raider. Yeah, so that was nice. Kind of starting to chip away at the Drakari. Definitely getting some revenge back from them. Alright, well, that's going to take us on over to the Necron turn. So all of the destroyers just got closer to their various targets. This guy got closer to the Iron Warriors. This destroyer is heading over towards the AdMech grouping. This guy actually stayed put along with everybody else in this tower. This destroyer is heading over towards 1,000 suns. And this hex mark moved over to help out the Tomb Blade over here against these 1,000 suns. So the two of them managed to do 1 point of damage to the mostly unpainted group of Scarab Terminators. This guy didn't wound anything at all. This Locust Heavy Destroyer did a little bit of damage to the Iron Strider Ballistari over there. Took all of these guys in this little column here, the Warden, the Immortals, and the Heavy Destroyer, to kill off the Obliterator that used to be in the corner here. And this hex mark is definitely putting a dent into these Iron Warriors, killing 2 of the Legionnaires. Yeah, that was excellent. Alright, well, that's going to make it the Orc turn. The Orcs are also rather dilapidated right now, just these 2 mech guns and that knob. So nobody moved. The knob shot into the Legionnaires, failed to hit at all. Both of these mech guns shot at the Raider. The unpainted one failed to hit, and the painted one, the Raider actually saved. The mech gun normally does a lot better than that, but I mean, you can take your... Well. Orc shooting is temperamental at best, so every hit is a good day. With that being said, it's the Iron Warrior's turn. Alright, these guys are going to continue to just stay up here on the high ground. I mean, it's working for them a little bit. They killed off the knob that was over here. The Legionnaires did anyway. Then between the Havocs and the Hellbrute, did a little bit of damage to the hex mark. Not enough to kill it. It'll still continue to be an annoyance, I'm sure. Alright, so we're going to hop across the table again to the 1,000 Suns way over there. Okay, so everybody just kind of moved up a whole lot closer to the hex mark and where the Tomb Blade used to be. The Exalted Sorcerer got a smite off on the Locust Heavy Destroyer, a couple points of damage to it. This guy's the middle grouping of dudes here. Their Doombolt did not go off. But this guy's Doombolt did go off, and it completely destroyed the Tomb Blade. So everybody focused all of their shots into the hex mark, getting it down to 1 health. Not killing it though. Alright, well, that's going to make it the Drukhari turn. They chose to come up this way last turn, trying to hug the walls here and be all sneaky Drukhari-like. It worked a little bit. It cost them a Raider and all the Cobblites in it, but maybe they can do something different this turn. The Drukhari have moved up a whole lot closer to these Iron Warriors. The Cobblites and the Raider all shot at the Legionnaires, killing 2 of them. The Raider itself shot at the Hellbrute, doing some damage. Venom didn't really do anything at all. But the Iron Warriors are, their numbers are decreasing pretty steadily. So that'll take us on over to the Night Lords. So I didn't realize this until, a couple seconds ago. Minutes ago. But the Chaos Lord and the 2 Havocs are the only things left alive for the Night Lords. So the Havoc with the Reaper Chain Cannon is the only one that's really in range to shoot anything, and he managed to kill off 1 of these Necron Immortals. So that'll take us on over to the Tyranids. So all the Tyranids have moved to this side of the pipe. going towards these Imperial Guardsmen. The warriors managed to kill off the smaller group of guards that used to be right here, and then the Hive Tyrant killed off the Commissar. And that'll take us to the end of round 4. Going into round 5, we're going to start this round off way on the other end of the diagonal. That's the last 2 remaining members of the AdMech. Alright, so the Ballistari and the Dominus are moving forwards. Not entirely sure where they're headed to, but they're going somewhere. The Dominus healed the Ballistari up for a point, and then the Iron Strider shot at the Venom, but failed to wound it. Sad day. So that'll take us up to the Orc turn, which is these 2 mech guns right here. Hopefully they can destroy the Venom or the Raider. That's the goal here. I really fucking love the mech gun. I don't know if I've expressed this before in a video. I'm sure I have. But let me just re-express it again. I fucking love the mech gun. So the mostly unpainted one on the left there killed the Venom. It didn't explode. The Archon didn't die getting out of it, but he still blew it up. That was super awesome. And then the painted one did, some damage to the Raider. Not enough to kill it, but it knows it got hurt. So yay Orcs. Still kicking ass with just 2 mech guns. It makes me happy. That makes it the Iron Warriors' turn. These guys are still standing kind of strong on top of this structure. They haven't moved off of it the entire game. Yeah, so these guys just probably are never going to move the rest of their lives. The Hellbrute and the Havocs did manage to kill off the Hexmark over here. And the Legionnaires did a point of damage to the Raider. I mean, they're doing something anyway. Killer Necrons, that's important, right? For non-Necron players. So, back across the table for the Thousand Sons. Alright, so none of these guys moved. The only real way that I know of to get through the Necron reanimation thing is to use the mortal wounds that you get from Psychic Powers. So instead of using Doombolt for the Terminator, since everybody knows Smite, they did a whole lot of smiting here. This guy did actually manage to kill the Hexmark on the first go. And these 2 between them killed off the Locust Heavy Destroyer over here. That's all they're doing. That was quite enough to clear most of the path in front of them. Alright, well that'll make it the Drukhari turn. These guys did pretty okay the last time, so maybe they'll do semi-okay this time. So the Archon has just moved over to the other side of the Raider. The Kabbalites inside the Raider managed to kill off another 2 of the Legionnaires. And the Dark Lance on the Raider did a little bit more damage to the Hellbrute. Maybe next turn they can kill it. Yeah. Well, that's going to make it the Tyranid turn. Alright, so all these warriors moved up into a line. I think that was more for my own aesthetic purposes than anything else. But between all of the Tyranid warriors and the Hive Tyrant, they did kill off all the remaining shock troops that were over on this side. Tyranids are doing a good job on the shooting. That'll take us over to the 3 remaining Night Lords over here on this wall. So the two remaining Havocs and the Chaos Lord have gotten down onto the ground here. And the Reaper Chain Cannon managed to kill off 3 of the shock troops that were over here. Alright, starting to really take the fight to the guard now, I guess. So after watching one of their squads get completely annihilated by the Tyranids, and starting to take damage of their own from the Night Lords, these guys are feeling the pinch. But it is their turn, so it's time for them to do something awesome. So the guard moved up. The shock troops threw everything they had against the Hive Tyrant, and nothing at all even really wounded. The command group threw everything it had into this small group of Tyranid warriors, and also failed to even wound against them, so that's sad. So that'll take us to the remnants of the Necrons. The Royal Warden just moved down 1 floor. These guys dumped everything they had into the Havocs and the Chaos Lord. And it took all of them, and they did manage to get it done. And the Night Lords are finally no more. Okay, so that was the bottom of round 5. So now we go up to round 6. And we're going to start this round off with the Iron Warriors. So the Iron Warriors have done some aesthetic shuffling around, just making sure that everybody could see the Raider. And yeah, everybody shot the Raider. It took all of them to blow it up, but they did in fact kill it. 2 of the Cobbleites died getting out of it. That was pretty awesome. Actually, it's pretty awesome that they made it this far in their transports. Pretty much most of the way across the table. Not too shabby. Alright, that'll make it the Tyranid turn. Based on what they did to the Imperial Guard last turn, I foresee a repeat experience. So Tyranids kind of just also reshuffled aesthetically and killed off the shock troop squad, and then the Hive Tyrant killed one of the veterans. This battle over here is getting kind of rough and in your face. Which is good, I guess, for the Imperial Guard, because it's their turn. Okay, so these guys didn't move. The Acadian commander supercharged his plasma gun, and with his wound on the warrior and everyone else helping out, they did kill off one of the warriors. So yeah, that's a victory. So that'll take us on over to the orcs. Over there on that side of the table, the 2 mech guns all by themselves. Still holding on. These guys are real troopers. They're just hanging in there, shooting at things, having a good time. So the Pandian one finally managed to kill off the Iron Warrior's halberd. And then the other mech gun killed off just one of the Legionnaires this time. These guys are really working their way through the Iron Warriors. Alright, well, that puts it up to the Admech turn. Still amazed these guys are still in it. So the Ballistarian Dominus have just moved up here, finally able to confront the mech guns. The Ballistar did actually wound the unpainted one a little bit. Alright, so 1,000 Suns on the other side of the board. So all of the 1,000 Suns just advanced, heading over towards this Tyranid Imperial Guard fight that's going on. The front group of Scarab Terminator dudes, their sorcerer tried to manifest Smite on this Hive Tyrant here. He managed to deny it, but periled while doing it. which was super amazing and crazy. But they're too far away to actually shoot. Okay, they're not too far away, but they all advanced. So nothing happened in there. So that'll take us over to the Drukhari, who no longer are riding around in a transport. Let's see if they can still do awesome things to the Iron Warriors. So the Kabbalites have moved closer to really take advantage of that rapid fire. Archon just moves up behind them. So they managed to kill off 3 of the Legionnaires. I feel like the Drukhari have just kind of been waging their own personal war against the Iron Warriors the last couple of rounds. I think they've been doing a pretty good job. Alright, so this once again takes us to the bottom of a round. And it'll be the Necron turn. Alright, so all of the Necrons are heading down towards the Orc side, looking for the fun to be had there. The Destroyers just moved. The Immortals and the Royal Warden advanced down. So this Gauss Destructor one kind of did a weird snipey shot and killed one of the mostly unpainted Scarab Occult Terminators over there. And this guy shot at the Dominus, and the Dominus managed to save against the 3 wounds, so boo on that, I guess. And with that, that takes us to the end of round 6. So going into round 7, still a bunch of models on the table. If you're still here, I appreciate your endurance. We're going to start round 7 off with the Imperial Guard. Alright, so I kind of feel for the Imperial Guard. I can feel their desire to charge in and try and start slashing, but all they have really are pistols, so they're doing what they can with what they got. They managed to do 1 point of damage to this Tyranid Warrior. Things aren't looking too good for them right now. So that'll take us on over to the AdMech turn. Those guys are staring down the Orc mech guns over there. Just these 2 guys left. The Dominus just got closer to the other, to the mech guns. Shot everything he had at the mech guns, didn't do anything at all. The Ballistari, on the other hand, managed to kill off one of these mech guns and damage the other one. So we're getting there at least a little bit. That'll take us on over to the Necron turn. So the Immortals and the Royal Warden have just moved up, heading towards the Tyranids, I believe. The Destroyer on the ground just stayed there. The one that was behind him flew over on top of this ruined building. And then it killed off the mech gun, removing the Orcs from the competition. The second faction the Necrons have taken out. This Destroyer shot at the Dominus because it's closest, almost killed it. The Royal Warden did a little bit of damage to the Exalted Sorcerer, and the Immortals did a point of damage to the Terminators up in the front there. So they're doing their part as well. That'll take us over to the Iron Warriors. These guys were doing really good. They lasted a long time, but have slowly been picked apart. Not many of them left. These guys have been on this structure the entire game. They haven't really moved except to occasionally shuffle around so that their units can shoot at things, but other than that, they haven't come off of it. And for once, they actually did something pretty goddamn amazing. So both aspiring champions managed to kill off a Kabbalite warrior each. And then the remaining 3 Havocs managed to kill the Ballistari. which then did something which I've never seen it do before, and it exploded. Yeah, which killed the Dominus, because he only had 1 health left. So the Iron Warriors took out the AdMech. I am superbly surprised. Yeah, that was just amazing. The right rolls at the right time, and yeah, just these guys done good. Now I really actually have to start fleshing them out, buying more models for them and stuff. Yeah, that makes it the Thousand Suns' turn. So everybody just moved up their regular distance. The front, Scarabacol Terminator Sorcerer guy, and the Aspiring Sorcerer. Between them managed to smite the lone single Tyranid that used to be here, killing it off. The Terminator Sorcerer in the back actually managed to get Doombolt off on the Hive Tyrant. I think that's like the 5th or 6th time that's ever happened. So that was awesome, and got the full 3 damage on it, so yay. And then everybody dumped all of their guns into the Hive Tyrant and did actually manage to kill it off. Chaos Ice finally starting to come through again. Well, so the last remaining Drukhari here, it's their turn to do awesome things. They came over here with the intention of taking out the Iron Warriors, and they're definitely going to continue to try doing that. Well, these guys aren't moving anymore. They're close enough for their pistols and their rapid-fire awesomeness. They shot everything they had at the aspiring champion, the Legionnaires. They did manage to kill him, but it took everything they had. The last faction of round 7. And that's the Tyranids, these 3 little warriors over here. Alright, well, the Tyranids chose not to move. And they did wipe out the remaining Acadian command squad over here. So the Tyranids killed the Imperial Guard at the bottom of round 7. Alright, we're starting to get down to the little nitty gritty now. Got 5 factions remaining. Going into the top of round 8. We're going to start this off with the Iron Warriors. Alright, so the Iron Warriors are still just not moving. So all the Havocs killed off all of the Cobalites. These guys are just bitterly exchanging blows with the Drukhari and have been for a couple rounds now, and yeah, I don't know. Drukhari did okay on the melee thing, but I don't think they're gonna make it through this one. That being said, that'll take us over to the Thousand Suns, who are over here staring down the Tyranids. Alright, so the Thousand Suns are just steadily moving closer, mainly so they can get in range with the heavy Warp Flamer, because that's a nice little weapon. Everything that was in range did manage to kill off one of these Tyranid warriors. It wasn't great, but it's not the worst thing ever. So that'll take us over to the Drukhari turn, the last Archon over here. Alright, well the Archon scooted over a little bit and managed to kill off one of these Havocs. It was wounded, so yep. That'll be the Tyranid turn. The Tyranids are letting their prey just get closer to them. They did manage to kill off the wounded Terminator in the first grouping there. So that'll take us over to the Necron turn, where I expect to see a lot more death coming. So the Destroyers have just moved closer over towards the Iron Warriors high ground area. And then the Royal Warden and the Immortals are moving over towards the Thousand Suns. So these guys shot at that back grouping of Scarab Terminators, and they saved against everything. The front Locust Heavy Destroyer, the Gauss Destructor, killed the Archon. So Necrons wiped out Drukhari round 8. And then the back Locust Heavy Destroyer killed off. I got excited because I got confused. He did a point of damage to one of the Havocs. Alright, so that'll take us to the top of round 9. I'll start with the Iron Warriors. Alright, so all of these Havocs, the last cannon and the autocannon, did a couple points of damage to this front Locust Heavy Destroyer. Didn't kill it. That was unfortunate. Alright, that'll take us over to the Thousand Suns. So the Thousand Suns dumped everything they had, smites, weapons, everything. They managed to kill off one of these Tyranid warriors and got the other one down to 1. I mean, that's good. They did a good job. It's the Tyranid's turn. This last lone Tyranid with just 1 health. He's really just trying his best. Does manage to kill off the last remaining regular Occult Terminator in that front grouping. Alright, Tyranids really are tough to kill. This is interesting as hell, actually. That'll make it the Necron turn. So the front Locust Destroyer, the damaged one, regains a health due to living metal. And these guys continued moving forward towards the Iron Warriors. The Royal Warden and Immortals over here continuing moving out, chasing after the Thousand Suns. So once again, these guys dumped everything they had into that back squad of Terminators. Actually managed to kill one this time. And then between these two destroyers, they killed one of these Havocs and did 1 point of damage to another one. So that'll be the end of round 9. Taking a lot of rounds so far to get through this. Yeah, a lot of rounds. So that'll take us to round 10. And the Necrons get to start this round off, so... Yay, going twice. Alright, so the destroyers are going to continue around this corner, heading over towards the Tyranid over there. Definitely in range to take out these Havocs. The Immortals and Royal Warden have finally cleared the building over here, so now they have clear range on everybody. Once again, put all of their shots into that back grouping of Terminators. This time they killed one and damaged another one. And these Locust Heavy Destroyers finally managed to clear the Iron Warriors from the top of this structure. That only took 10 rounds. That was crazy. So yeah, Necrons finished cleaning up the Iron Warriors in round 10. Okay, that leaves us with three factions left. And it is now the Thousand Suns' turn. Alright, so the Aspiring Sorcerer of the Terminator squad in the front here doesn't actually have a gun, but he has Smite and Doombolt, neither of which would have helped him here. I mean, he tried to do Smite and it didn't work. And then the Exalted Sorcerer also tried Smite, and that also didn't work. But the Soul Reaper cannon back here out of this Terminator squad did in fact kill the last Tyranid. So the Thousand Suns have killed the Tyranids. Which literally just leaves us now with this group of Thousand Suns against the remnants of the Necrons. So we're just going to start switching off between the two until one of them is dead. So yeah, Necron turn. Alright, so the destroyers have come around the corner here just to get better in range against the Thousand Suns. These guys are just hanging out here doing their thing. Alright, so the Royal Warden and the Mortals killed off the Terminator that had the Soul Reaper cannon. And it took both of these guys to kill off the front Terminator. Which will make it the Thousand Suns' turn. Which is really just smiting, because the Exalted Sorcerer has a pistol, but nobody's within 12. And he's too far away to move within 12, so yeah. We're just looking at smites here. Well, since there's nowhere these guys can move to that'll take them out of range of the Necrons, they were just staying put. The Terminator tried to do Doombolt on the Royal Warden. It didn't go off. The Exalted Sorcerer tried to do Smite on the Royal Warden. It also didn't go off. So that'll take us back to the Necron turn. Alright, these guys definitely have the range on the Thousand Suns. So there was no need to move. The Royal Warden and the Immortals killed off the Terminator. And the two Locust Heavy Destroyers killed off the Exalted Sorcerer. So that means that ultimately in this 10-faction shooting battle, the Necrons win. Yay, Necrons! They survived and they cleaned up. They ended up killing off 5 factions all on their own. Just, coming in and mopping up the survivors, so good job on their part. Man, it's pouring down outside right now. Awesome. If you made it to the end of the video, I do greatly appreciate it, especially this long-ass video. Probably over an hour at the end of it. So yeah, this is 150. I hope you guys like it. I definitely have put a lot of time into this video. I'm sure the video editor put a crap ton of time into it. So yeah, we do appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.